yes, we had yes, we have great lofty ideas for the year, but it's also important that all of these outreaches are not just activities. We're seeing tangible impact through the work that you do. So you saw that we had a fellows meetup that catered to that. Then we also went to STEM to say, you know what, how do we equip you, ensuring that you are innovating your ways around STEM. Then we also brought in safety. So when you go to your schools, how do you ensure safety in your outreaches? So you see how it's projecting, you see how it's moving, you see how the flow is evolving. And today we will be having, I would say, guest mentor, because this is not a training. Why this is important is I like to use the word fireside chat, because really it's an opportunity for us to listen, to pick out what is inspiring for us, and really what's the thing that is going to inspire us for action with everything that we're going to hear. So my charge to every one of us this evening is, please let this be very engaging. You are going to fuel this conversation. Your questions, your clarity request is going to fuel this conversation. Mr. Chukuka is here, fully ready for us. It's been a long time coming, so he's really excited that we are here. So please, let's maximize this opportunity. And I say maximize, like, you know how when you want to squeeze out, let's squeeze out what we can get today from this fellows meetup. And having said that, I'm excited and honored rather, to introduce Mr. Chukuka Chukuma, who will be leading this ship, leading this conversation today by sharing with us his journey, I would say. How he, and you see how the title goes, from campus to Wall Street. How does this connect to you? You are a campus student. There's projection there. There's opportunities that you can see from it. So with that, we introduce Mr. Chukuka Chukuma, who is a leader with over 30 years experience driving transformative transactions and building investments across Africa. Beyond this, he's the co-founder of Racecourse Capital, which is a private investment and advisory firm focused on Africa. Then how does he put all of this into social impact? He's a passionate community builder, and he's serving as a board member of SEO Africa, which I'm very sure is going to speak about it. And we are also honored to have some of the SEO Africa member team on the call. Thank you for joining in. Mr. Chukuka is also a Culture Factor Africa. You see him also being a board member in all of this, and DBH Solutions. He also champions legislations for the underrepresented groups through the Texas District 92 Advisory Council, and also shapes key Nigerian policies like the Startup Act and Creative Industries Bill. For us, how does he connect to us? You remember that WAAW Foundation is championing girls, championing young women. So it's really an opportunity for us to hear from him and to take out what he's here to share with us. So having said that, this is me passing the mic, the virtual mic, to Mr. Chukuka. Mr. Chukuka, over to you, please.
Ura Ola, thank you very, very much. I hope everybody can hear me loud and clear. Excellent.
Very loud.
Good, good, good. I'm actually very excited to be here. I'm actually truly honored to be here. And it's because I think the mission of WAAW Foundation is so important. It's STEM, which is the future. It's women/girls, which is Africa's future for sure. And it is the most impactful thing that you can do, because, as you know, these little startups go from zero to hero, whether it's fintechs that are now bigger than banks, so a lot of stuff starts in the tech world, but it just becomes massive. So very, very excited to be here. I'm not comfortable with these introductions because they make me look like one old man that has been, busy working and going up and down. What I've done here is I've actually prepared a presentation for you. But before I go into the presentation, I just want to say a couple of things. The first one is, I don't know how many people are here, but I counted 42 to 50, something like that, I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I actually am afraid of public speaking. And I just wanted you to know that. So be gracious to me, because especially as there's so many smart people. I was an art student. I wasn't smart enough to be a STEM student. So, I'm already intimidated by all the beautiful faces I see and all the wonderful work I know you guys are doing, learning, STEM. I'm an advocate for women. I have three of my colleagues here from SEO, which I want to sort of acknowledge. Ebenezer Asare is here. He's in charge of our talent acquisition and outreach analyst. And then we've got Antonia Wani. Hopefully, all three will get to say hello at some point during the call. Antonia is actually the business operations analyst. And then the head kahuna of them all is Sally Eboa Dako, who's been with us since 2017 at SEO Africa. She's actually the business operations manager. So I wanted to thank three of them for coming. I want you to know that this is a safe space. If we need extra time, I'm available, and so will be my team, so that we can make sure that we answer all your questions properly. And without further ado, I will now go into my presentation, which, yes, I'm allowed to share. That's excellent. So I can share the whole screen, I hope. It's asking me, yes, Zoom is allowed to share. I bought a new laptop, so everything is it's asking me to quit and reopen. Okay, so I'll quit and reopen right immediately. All right, give me half a second. I am back. All right. So I'm going to be able to share my screen now. Excellent. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Good. All right. So we can go. I like to start with the founder of SEO. The founder of SEO is a man named, it's actually emotional because he only just passed about a month ago. But Michael Oshwitz set up SEO. And I like to start with, saying what he told all of us, which is that talent is actually everywhere, but it's opportunity that's the issue. And that's actually the foundation of what we're going to be discussing, how you get these opportunities for internships and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Having adopted that, I then said that the key difference really between developing countries and developed countries is the quality of human capital deployed. To the extent that you have the opportunity to learn and develop and grow and get the opportunity to have the right job, you will do well in this life. And that's really what we're about at SEO. This is me teaching, the principles of SEO, which we'll talk about a bit. And then this is our he's essentially the chairman for SEO. So this is who Michael handed over to. His name is Henry Kravitz. He manages about $600 billion in a firm called KKR. And so when I was thinking about what to present to you guys, I thought it only made sense for me to start right at the beginning, right? Because then you'd get a better sense of how we're really not very different, right? I'm Nigerian, went to school in Lagos, Fountain School, University of Lagos, Staff School, Corona, ended up at King's College, and eventually went to a school called Unilag. I was really a sports athlete, so I did lots of sports, whether it was karate, judo, soccer, you name it, I did it. And I did it at really high levels. So javelin, I was second in the country, squash, I played quite well. Karate, same thing. Judo, same thing. And when I went to University of Lagos, I was studying economics, and I taught as a tutor, microeconomics, macroeconomics, but I was still very active in my sports side of things. I was the national champion for karate. I was also state champion for judo for quite a few years. So sports was a big part of my life as a young person. And then when I moved to the States, I initially moved to a school called Hampton University. It's a historically Black college in Virginia. And the reason why I moved was because there were so many strikes in Nigeria, we couldn't finish school. And so I had to leave to go and try and finish school in the States. And I continued doing my sports there. I was teaching anti-rape classes for women because I taught karate. Somebody had been raped, and I thought I could help the girls protect themselves. I did everything. I did, karate. I went for some strange reason. If you see my cursor, I went and did MMA cage fighting, the same one you know now to be the UFC. Then it was just mixed martial arts, cage fighting. And I came third, but this happened to me. I damaged my nose. So the nose you see today is full plastic surgery. It cost me $8,000. And yeah, I suffered greatly as a result of that fight that I won, but lost in the sense that I came out with a very big injury. So that actually affected my American football scholarship, which I was on while in college at Hampton. And so I left Virginia and moved to New York, where I continued, finance and economics, and decided that I really wanted to start doing internships. So this is sort of the journey to doing internships. I got a contract job initially at Goldman Sachs doing research in the investment banking library. But my life really changed when I started doing a program called SEO. So I became an SEO intern at JP Morgan in the foreign exchange department in an area called short-term interest rate trading. Now, this SEO, I want to talk a bit about it because this is the head office of SEO. We're gonna later talk about SEO Africa, but SEO USA, Michael Oshwitz started that program. And what he really started was not the career program, which we'll talk about with you guys. He started the Scholars Program. And what the Scholars Program is essentially an 8-year program where they take high school kids and help them, inner city kids in New York initially. Michael was working at Goldman Sachs as he's a Jewish gentleman, and he was working at Goldman Sachs as an investment banker, but he had a heart for Black people, and he had a heart for minorities, and he really wanted to help inner city youth go to college. And so he set up this program, and eventually they started having 85% graduation rates where SEO kids would go, SEO scholar program kids would go from high school into college and graduate at an 85% rate, which was higher than even the US rate. And then in 1980, he had a bit of an epiphany, and he said, wouldn't it be nice to see more Black people corporate America? Is somebody talking? Can everybody mute their mics? Unless you want to tell me something, which is also fine. Do you want to say something? Okay. And so in 1980, he set up this thing called the SEO Career Program. And that is what we'll talk more about today, because that's basically, recruiting, and preparing high achieving undergraduates for summer internships, right? In his case, in corporate America, because this was all happening in New York, in the US. He then went on, to expand the program internationally. SEO London launched in 2000 and 2006. SEO Career Program launched in China. By 2009, SEO Career then launched in Vietnam. There's something called the SEO Alternative Program. Alternative investments is basically the buy side where the money is, right? And so private equity, venture capital, all those things where money is deployed from is alternative investments, right? Real estate funds and things like that. And so he set that up, and SEO just kept growing. And by 2011, they were mainly in New York area. They moved to San Francisco. Then we, SEO Africa, were born, right? So we set up SEO Career Program initially in Ghana. And now we too have our own scholars program I'll talk about later. And basically in 2014, we had a seismic change in the organization with the arrival of Henry Kravitz, who Michael Oshwitz had known for many years, and, mutual respect. Henry Kravitz at the time was managing $400 billion, something like that, at KKR. The word private equity, this is the man who did the very first private equity transaction ever, right? 40 something years ago. So he's a real captain and titan of industry. And so Henry came into SEO, and that just blew it up, because now you have a billionaire who's brought his connections, and the thing is just growing. And the program really started galloping. They did a book on SEO called The Opportunity Makers, the first, 50 years basically of SEO. I'm actually in the book in two places, one as an intern, as an SEO intern, and then later on as a board member of SEO Africa. So I'm very proud to have that on my own personal CV. And then later on, we had the tech developer program, which is like for, like you guys, right? So tech program focus for all these tech-focused jobs, and then a leadership institute because we wanted to get SEO alumni into the next level of leadership across multiple firms. And so that just gives you a sense of what SEO is, right? And how much it's grown. And then we have a law program as well. So this is all in the US. As I had mentioned, Michael passed away just this March. It was very tough for, for the organization, but for some of us that knew him personally. My life changed with SEO, I must tell you. It was just a seismic change for me. I went from intern, trying to get into the program. I got rejected. It was very painful. I eventually got accepted, and then they trained me, they mentored me, I learned networking. They placed me in a job at JP Morgan, as I mentioned, and they supported me. The support comes in, this is me, by the way. I know you can't tell which one, but the young looking guy that's all teeth is me. And this was from 1996. But what's interesting about this is that the power of SEO's network was so good that one day I was given an assignment I couldn't do. They asked me to build some kind of FX interest rate swap calculator. I had no clue what they were talking about, and I was worried. So I called SEO. I said, look, SEO, I need help. I've been given an assignment and I don't know what it is. They say, okay, there's 200 of you. Who are you? Where are you? I'm like Chukuka, Chukuma. I'm in JP Morgan, third floor of 60 Wall Street. They say, okay, get up. Do you see there are 3 Black people on your floor? One of them is an SEO alum. His name is Joe Garte. Go and meet him and he'll help you out. I go to Joe, I meet him, I explain my problem, and eventually help build the calculator for me, explain how it worked. Joe was a math major from Harvard and very good at modeling these types of things. He worked in proprietary trading. So that's an example of an SEO network where on the spot, I was given something to do in the building of this big company called JP Morgan. I didn't know where I would get the help. And there was Joe. So I put a picture of Joe. We met not too long ago, as in I keep in touch with these people in my life. I had stalked when I finished my SEO internship, I then worked for SEO. I volunteered for about a year to better know the program and meet everyone. And I stalked the chairman emeritus, Michael Auschwitz, and I got to know him. And then we started going to lunch together, and I really got to understand his why and why he was helping people like myself and stuff. And by the way, I'm one of 30,000 people that he's helped, right? So there's many of us, but we actually got close. And he sort of explained the philosophies and stuff. And basically, I want you guys to know that, from all this experience, I was able to learn that there are certain attributes that make a rock star intern. I would say authenticity is high on the list. The rest you can read at your own leisure. The way this has been prepared was that we wouldn't necessarily finish it here and you'd have time to actually look at it yourselves. But all these are very important. I'd say, attention to detail. Everybody says I have attention to detail. And then you find that even in their resume, there's like a mistake, right? Which is just unforgivable because you actually wrote attention to detail. And then above that, you're missing a comma or you didn't like put a period or something. So attention to detail, all these things are important. But for SEO, giving back is actually very, very important to us. We want the kind of people that are like me and like the people I came on the call with, because we are the type of people that not just do excellent work and do all these things, but we actually give back of our time, we give back of ourselves. So we're always looking for people. There's an SEO saying there that we say, it's not about you, it's about those that came before you and those that come after you, right? And so that's why I'm here. I'm doing this because it's really not about me. It's about you guys who hope, some of you would hopefully come on as SEO alums and those that came before me, right? That's who it's about. We have a lot of distinguished alumni. You should Google, these people. Carla Harris sticks out to me because she's the first Black woman to make managing director on Wall Street and the first Black woman to be like vice chairman of like a massive bank like Morgan Stanley. And I got to meet her while I was at SEO. I got to meet Frank Baker while at SEO as an intern. These were some of the people that trained me. So yeah, it's a really, really great organization. In terms of entrepreneurship, which is what I was asked to speak about, it's important to know that I had written a book called In Pursuit, Journeys in African Entrepreneurship. And in that book, we actually talk about intrapreneurship, because you have to be a good entrepreneur before you become an entrepreneur, right? And just in case you don't know what an entrepreneur is, it's basically somebody that is um, displaying certain attributes that are very similar to an entrepreneur, but they're doing it within while employed, right? They're doing it at a company. And so one of the key things I would say is value creation. The person is, generating significant value for the company beyond the scope they're not focused on their job description, right? They're trying to do more, which is very, very important skill to have. There's limited financial, upside, but they don't look at it from the standpoint of making money. They look at it from the standpoint of getting skilled. And then lastly, there's a, supervised autonomy, right? Because somebody's sort of, focused on helping you grow and also managing you and things like that. Now, an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset is someone that essentially reduces cost and maximizes shareholder value, right? That is at the heart of what an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset, which is also called an intrapreneur, is essentially doing. And we talked about that at length in the book. The entrepreneur, on the other hand, is quite similar. There's value creation. So they find a product or a service that the market needs, they design it, they go ahead and build wealth, right? So they don't have there's no cap on their on how much they can make, but there's also no floor, right? They could lose it all. At least with a job, you have your salary, right? Even if you don't get the bonus for doing much better. But here it's unlimited, right? Which is what makes entrepreneurship exciting. And then lastly, you have autonomy. You get to decide what it is that you're doing and your direction and stuff like that. And so, the real thing here is that an entrepreneur is one who relentlessly pursues opportunities without regard for resources, right? You just focus on trying to get it done. And so there's a lot of similarities and differences. We won't go into all of them, but the point of it is that, really and truly, the real difference between the two, intrapreneur and entrepreneur, is risk management. The fact that entrepreneur is taking on huge risk. They could make $100 million, or they could lose it all and be homeless, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I like the odds of making the 100 or losing it all. I'm fine with that. But I have been an entrepreneur, and really, to become an entrepreneur one day, you really want to start as an entrepreneur. In terms of ways I've shown my entrepreneurship that it's helped me while, having a job, I'd say when I was at JP Morgan, I was hired again as an intern. Before that internship was completed, I knew I did not want to leave the building and go back and start looking for work. And so I quickly convinced 3 people at JP Morgan to hire me. Okay. So when the summer was over, I went to HR and said, they're like, oh, thanks for, summer internship. You're leaving. I said, no, me, I'm not leaving. I'm staying. I'll now be going to school at night because I paid my way through school. I'll now be going to school at night and going and working during the day. They said, we don't have a job for you. I said, no, you don't need to find a job for me. I found 3 jobs for myself. There's 3 different people that have said they'll hire me to do different tasks for a couple hours a day. And as far as you, head of HR, approve it, we're good to go. So she was kind enough. Her name is Christine Padian. So she approved it, and that was it. I found out that they had a library. And so as an entrepreneur, I started going to that library 3 times a week to get tapes. Now, some of you don't know what tapes are, but yes, literally cassette tapes that you go and put in your VCR. So I would get these tapes. It was on, LBO financing, structured trade, just random stuff that I didn't know anything about, right? And so I started watching those tapes. I would take them for 2 days, watch it like 3 times, and then return it and take another one. And I did that the whole year that I was at JP Morgan while I was going to school. And so since I was already around, they decided to offer me a summer internship the following year. Since you're already here, why don't you just stay again? I said, great. I then thought, the Bible says, ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be opened, and I have no shame. So I went ahead and asked, is it possible that you pay me to be here for the summer, but also pay me to go to Harvard for the summer venture management program? And guess what? They said, yes, fantastic. So I went on their dime, and that was great. And so by the time I finished, in fact, they used my face for their recruiting handbooks and stuff like that. But by the time I finished at JP, I had multiple offers with different firms. So the following year, I chose to go with Solomon Smith Barney. I joined, you've heard of the dot-com boom, possibly. And so I joined Solomon Spin Barney at the tail end of the dot-com boom. And that was basically telecom, media, entertainment, and technology, especially semiconductor and internet stocks were very, very hot. There was a lot of capital being raised for them. So I was in equity capital markets, that's ECM. And by 99, just a year after I joined, I started building the book. Usually you need to be in that team for about 4 to 5 years. I did it in a year. And building the book is essentially you are the one determining how many shares of an initial public offering one investor versus the other would get, right? Which is like a big deal because some of those stocks will go up in one day 400%. So I started building books. I started, working unsupervised. Usually when you're in investment banking, you have an MD, a VP, director, associate, analyst. Sometimes I was working just with the MD, and some of those MDs were senior MDs, right? Because I had learned a lot from SEO, and I was like very good at what I did at the point. And so I was tired of America, got hired to work for Citibank in Nigeria. Again, I came with the SEO mindset and the principles. I remember arriving in Lagos, everybody already had deals that they were working on. I was this diasporan that they didn't know, and it was kind of difficult to get going. But using the SEO skills, I was able to start helping people with their work. Madam, won't you go home? Are you not tired? You have kids. Let me help you with this transaction you're working on. Within 6 months, I was running the transactions, right? I had gone from helping you to running the deal, and you are now supporting me. Before I knew, I was closing deals on my own. I had 2 salary increases the following year, extra bonus. Again, it all stemmed from intrapreneurship. That it's not my job description. I'm not, no, no, no. You ask, you take on the work, you do it faster, you do it better, you ask for more. All the things I learned in SEO. I was then asked to, represent, remember, I was just a manager, right? Which is sort of mid-level, but I was representing the MD and Citibank Venture Capital, CVC, in Nigeria's first private equity firm. So that was a very prestigious thing. And so I then joined AfroInvest. Some of you may have heard of AfroInvest. They were a London-based investment bank, but now they're more West Africa focused. But I joined the London office. I was doing deals in London and Accra and Abuja, and, traveling 40 weeks a year, getting lots of miles. It was a great job. By 2003, I went from associate, where I was hired, to VP, heading the whole West Africa. 2 different offers, one for my pound as in currency payment from London, but then another one for all the local stuff like car and housing and things like that. Again, from being an entrepreneur, I was able to get two different pieces of paper that paid me. And I put my hand up. I hated the way the IT infrastructure for the company works. I helped to rebuild that. I didn't like our branding, so I did that as well. I wasn't in branding. I thought there's a good opportunity, given that Nigeria's trading system was starting. I helped to set that up, structured trade finance. I was just setting stuff up. I mean, nobody sent me, nobody asked me, but again, entrepreneurship. By 32, all this had happened. I was poached to run project finance for a company called Stanbic IPTC. And at the time, Stanbic was like number 23 of 25 banks. They were not very good. By 2007, I went from running just project finance to now running acquisition and leverage finance, structured trade finance, property finance, securitizations. I just was building businesses for them. And so because I was doing things that nobody asked me to do and I was building these businesses, after a while, they just had to promote me. So by 2008, they promoted me to run all those businesses. I was on credit committee, Africa, IB, again, just putting your hand up and shouting and pushing and being aggressive and just doing all the things SEO taught me. And before I knew, we woke up in 2008 and Standard Bank had never won Best Investment Bank in Africa because they were getting beaten by RMB and a couple of other banks in South Africa. But by the time we did what we did in Nigeria, when you saw the Best Investment Bank title for Africa and Nigeria, it referenced the transactions that my team were working on, right? So we were delivering. And so I was promoted again, Nigeria, Ghana, Angola. promoted again to head coverage, sort of senior banker type stuff. And then by 36, I got tired and left banking. And, I like to say that as an entrepreneur, I adopted the Kaizen mindset and implemented SEO principles like do it faster, better, and ask for more, right? And that's what really helped me. So Michael loved my book. I wrote the book I told you about. He loved it. That meant the world to me. He said it was a good read. And so with SEO Africa, I initially tried to start it in 2011, 2012 and failed miserably. I spent money, tens of thousands of dollars. We had, kind of wasted time, or so I felt. And then in 2013, I got a call, actually late 2012, I got a call from Ghana, from Kwabena, and a guy named Edgar, saying that they were looking to set up SEO in Africa. But when they called New York said call Chukuka in Nigeria because he just tried and failed setting up in Nigeria. Long story short, we got it set up and we started with just 11 kids, same as SEO. If you were paying attention, SEO in New York set up with 11 kids when they first started in 1980 with 4 firms. We set up with 4 firms, Stanbic, where I was initially working, Barclays. The guy running it was an ex-Stanbic guy from Nigeria who moved back home to Ghana to become MD. So those 2 were my friends. It was very easy to get them on or bully them to join. And then IC Securities had an SEO alum, and then UT Bank. And then Airtel provided us the infrastructure. So that's how we started. Well, we then started selecting, training, mentoring, providing corporate access for all these university kids in Ghana initially. And then boom, we're now doing 16 countries in Africa, pushing kids to Bank of America, Linklater as a law firm, Goldman Sachs, easily the best investment bank in the world, Jefferies, all these firms, we're pushing, kids too. And if you know the song, started from the bottom, now we're here. This is us, right? Like we started, 11, 12 years ago, but we are actually doing better than we planned to by this time. And we actually have very big ambitions for the future. In terms of our global reach, the geographic reach is huge because even though we only have about 1,000 alumni, we've actually impacted over 30,000 university students through our outreach programs, right? We're hitting like 7 different industries. We are really doing well when it comes to conversion rates. So when I say conversion rates, I mean going from spring to summer to full-time job. So you do a spring internship, 2 weeks, then you do a summer internship, usually 8 to 12 weeks, depending on where you go, and then you get a full-time job. Our conversion to full-time job for the Ghana program, 85%. For the global program, which is the international firms, 90%, which is phenomenal, by the way. And then for the Nigeria program, 85%. So we're doing really well. On the scholarship side of things, where we help, this is our own scholarship, right? Which is where SEO in America started. We've actually done quite a bit. On the SEO Cares, we've had 10 projects that have impacted 3,000, kids, young adults and stuff through these activations. And then on the Achievers side of things, which is where we help to pay for people's school fees, we're proud to say that we've helped about 6 students in Ghana with about 10,000 each to go to school, right? We have a lot of alumni, as you can imagine, on the SEO Africa side of things, some of which are here doing phenomenally well for us. And in conclusion, just to offer you some free advice, albeit unsolicited, I really believe that Africa's future is bright and women are the ones, especially in STEM, you guys are going to be the ones to lead the way, right? I believe you need to embrace your strengths. You got to seize these opportunities and essentially take your rightful place, right? Don't have imposter syndrome. First thing you got to do is nail your craft, excel in STEM. Second thing is on the leadership side, you need to find ways to lead things and push and be in front, right? And I hope I was able to demonstrate that when I talked about my entrepreneurship journey. You got to network strategically. Even here, you should definitely contact, the 3 colleagues that I have here and follow up with them. And even within yourselves, right? Within WAAW Foundation, you need to connect and sort of make sure that you're networking on a very, very regular, active basis. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Make sure I used to update my CV every quarter, so I can track my CVs back to 1996. I have all of them. And if from 96, you'll see 1996, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then full year CV. And the reason is because as you're networking and meeting people and working, you're getting more skills. So you have to keep updating your CVs as you get those skills, right? Quarterly. So you got to be very active. You got to craft a compelling story. What everybody has a story. What is your own? I chose, sort of athlete, hungry African, looking for work, ready to work 24/7. And they gave me the opportunity. What's your own story? You got to craft that. You got to make sure you prepare and practice your communication skills. Because that's very, very important, right? And then lastly, or maybe not lastly, you got to embrace authenticity. I don't think people take this authenticity thing for. I think they joke around with it. Authenticity is so, so important. The reason why Goldman, who already has Ethiopian, Sudanese, and stuff in America that they can hire, or in London they can hire. The reason why they come to us is because they're looking for the most authentic kids from the continent. The last thing you want to do is go into those meetings and try and start speaking like an American or a British person when you know you have not traveled before. Don't do that, right? Be your authentic self and be unapologetic. What's your name? You give them your full African name. You tell them the meaning. My name is Chukuka Chukuma. It means God is great, God is good. That's it. Be authentic. And then learn to give back. If you move forward, everybody here should have people that they're mentoring, younger girls, younger boys. Please don't leave the boy child alone. The girls are getting so much attention. I love it, by the way. But help everybody, right? Help people in school, help them pass classes, just expand on your brilliance, right? And when you start making money, please remember your parents, especially those that didn't come from much. Take care of your parents, very, very important. So giving back as a life skill and sort of philosophy is actually very important. And then lastly, I would say, we are mind, body, and spirit. Everything starts in the spirit. Whatever you don't counter in your heart, and guard and protect, it will seep into your mind. You'll now start actively thinking about it, and then there'll be manifestations of stress or this or that in your body. So if you can control most things in your spirit, it won't then get to your mind. And then, you got to work on all three to make sure that all three are being fed. So don't just eat nice food, but also read, right? And also spend time with whatever you define as your spiritual life. But don't let anybody ever tell you that there's nothing you can or can't do, because they told me many things, and here I am today. And so after you've now seen that, maybe hopefully some of the introductions that were done now make more sense, right? Because I built this thing brick by brick, and in many ways, I haven't built the best things yet. They're coming, and that's it. Thank you. Remember, Africa's future is female. Are you ready? This is the details of my three colleagues that are here. Thank you very much. I'll take
Thank
questions.
you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, in the chat room, through your reactions, give it up for Mr. Chuka. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I'm not a fellow, I'm not a scholar, but from where I sit, I took a whole number of things, and it's really inspiring to see your journey. And thank you for sharing your journey as well with us. I think most importantly, whenever you spoke, you kept referring to people and you were calling their names. And for me, that was like a major taker, because I'm like, as much as you are building relationship, building a network, you need to recognize people as they are. And I think that's my own major takeout from this. So I'm just going to leave it open now for the team, for our scholars and fellows. Do we have anybody who has any questions? So what we'll do is, using the emoji, just raise your hand so that there's a flow to it. So if you have any question, anything, this is an open house, literally. Do we have anybody? I'm not sure, I can see. Okay, so I'm seeing the chat room. A number of scholars are dropping their cents in it. So I'm seeing feedback on the CV. Somebody is taking a resolution to constantly update her CV and her LinkedIn. We're going to look out for that as well. We've taken your name. We're going to help you track and remain accountable for this resolution that you've given. someone who's inspired. Please don't just be inspired. Let's be inspired for action. Let's take what we've learned and run with it. Okay, go beyond your job description. Thank you. Do we have anybody that wants to speak? There's room to speak, please, guys. Let's hear voices. Let's see faces. Is there anybody? I'm not sure I can see. Okay. Do we have anybody who is even more curious about SEO Africa? So with the journey that Mr. Chukuka has shared, right? Does anybody see okay, we have Alima. So let me give you the floor, Alima. So you can speak now. You can unmute then speak. I think you have access to do that. Hi, Alima. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hi, Alima. We can hear
Good
you.
afternoon, everyone. Please, am I audible?
Yes, you are now. Hi, Alima.
Hello, ma.
Go ahead,
Hi,
Alima.
Alima. Go ahead.
Hello. Okay, thank you so very much for giving us this opportunity. First of all, sir, I will start by saying I love your presentation, your PowerPoint and everything, because like this is the first time that I'm seeing the presentation coming by like one after the other, not like in full page, one after the other. I like that about the presentation. Thank you so very much. It's inspiring. So, sir, I have this question about this SEO that like this opportunity is not like you hardly see them. So whenever you are striving, you can like you look, and like they are not available here in the north. So that's just this measure. You have this is a major setback to us not here. Whenever you want to do something like just so what I'm trying to say, please, if you can please try to expand it to come to this northern side contribution.
Just so you know, Halima, thank you for your question. At least in my own memory, I remember meeting, I know that we've, the SEO team can answer for me, but I know that we've gone across Nigeria, including to Yola. We've reached Yola. We went to, what's this man's school again? The former Atiku school. I know we went there. We went to a couple of other, we've done Futu, Mina. We've done, so I'm not sure which school you're in, but I'm saying that we've had northern, I remember a guy who was from Katsina, Muslim guy from Katsina. We sent him to Goldman Sachs in Hong Kong. I remember that myself. So I'd like one of my SEO colleagues to just mention the question that you're asking in terms of where we reach in the north.
All right, thank you very much. So we are actually open to virtual programs where we extend our employability skills training to students in Nigeria. So if you believe that your school has not been reached, which we doubt, send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat and we will be open to putting a virtual event for your school in the north. And if we have availability to come in person, so we do that as well. However, our Nigeria program, international programs are open to students all across Nigeria. We've been holding insight sessions where students learn about Goldman Sachs, how to get in there, and also for Bank of America and other programs too as well. So please stay connected on social media so that you get to know what exactly is going on. We have the MBA launch part, that's for students that wants to get into prestigious business schools too. So we have Nigerians from the north getting into all our programs. And if you could also spend me 5 minutes to talk about our programs too, I would do appreciate it. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Ebenezer.
Please, awesome.
All right, so thank you very much, everyone. So, first of all, I want to mention some of the partner firms that we have for Nigeria. That is Kuramo Capital, RMB, Constant Capital, Tempo Investments, Sterling, FMCB, and the others. And for Nigeria program, we have opportunities in finance and being a private equity, investment banking, global market, that's sales and trading, accounting functions, and the others. So for our Nigeria program, we recruit students that are down in their NYSC at the time of application or would be down in NYSC probably in May, as at the time that you open application. This is to allow them to go into full-time roles with the partner firms that we do have on board for that particular year. So apart from the Nigeria program too, we have the international program, which has been rebranded to the Global Pathways program. So what we do in the Global Pathways program is to provide you with tailored support where you get feedback one-on-one. We help you put together your resume, your cover letters, craft your unique story too as well to make sure that you are presenting a stellar and competitive application to the investment banks out there. One unique thing we did last year was that we didn't only help students apply to Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, but we allow them to also apply to other 6 firms to as well of their choice. So this is a special program that's going to allow you to grow more into the division that you want to get into and get the necessary training to apply to those firms to as well. We are proud to say that this year we partner with British International Investment, which is UK's development finance institution, to also bring their graduate training program to Nigeria, which is currently closed. So please keep an eye on our social media handles or pages to know when you have other applications to open as well. So aside our Global Pathways program and the Nigeria program too, we have other training programs such as the Global training for young women in finance, in corporate market and corporate finance and global markets as well. This year we also launched the quantitative finance program. This is a launch pad for students who are in STEM and other programs to understand what it looks like to be in finance, how to break into sales and trading, and the others. So if you're a woman here, please make sure that you are signed up for these our training programs. Aside that, we have insight events. So we have upcoming Goldman Sachs events where if you want to get into corporate or investment banking or global markets, we have those sessions designed for you. I've also mentioned the MBA Launchpad. We have an upcoming session, so check the chat box. I've put all these links there. If you want SC Africa to be very present on your campus so that you don't miss an opportunity, you can shoot me an email so that we could talk to you about the volunteer program. It's a way of giving back. You've been told that today. Aside that, we have other resources on our social media pages and our website to explore. I've also put the link to our CV resource in the chat box. So that's basically some of the available programs that we have. I've seen students from Sudan and other part of Africa also join in. We have the Global Pathways also open to you. We are expanding into Kenya, East Africa, and other countries too as well. So just stay connected and sign up to join our talent network so that when you have an opportunity open, we will surely share them with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Very well said. Any other questions, please? I see Jean-Michel, which is it? You can go ahead. Ms. Basquiat.
Hi, Jean.
Hello. Sorry for the name. It's a Monica that I used, and apparently it shows on your Zoom. So I want to say thank you for the insights. Thank you for the presentation. It's very insightful. But I have a question to ask. I believe that I want to present a scenario for you, and I want advice from Mr. Chukuka. So the thing is that sometimes when you do get into these leadership roles, sometimes they land you opportunities. For example, now you get to come on a team where you probably are leading, and everybody around, where you're probably the youngest person and you're leading the team, and everybody around you is older. So I want to ask, I know definitely if it's an entrepreneurial position, you would have to practice entrepreneurship outwardly, but inwardly you have to practice entrepreneurship. And I feel like when you are leading, it's the stats or the what should I call it? The stats or the sorry, my speech is a bit poor today. The stats or the way you do it is different from when you are rising from the bottom. So how do you suggest someone who is a young person that finds themselves leading a proactive team full of experience, how do you practice entrepreneurship? Because at the same time, you have to prove yourself to be worthy of that position, and also you have to learn from the others around you. So how do you strike a balance between both of them?
Okay, hopefully I can deal with this question. I mean, there have been several. In fact, I think my entire career, I've always managed people that were older, more experienced, more handsome, taller, everything, better schools and all that. I remember when I was at Stanbic, when I first got the position, I was a GM, general manager, in the Nigeria business and a director in the South Africa business. But I was 32, right? And I was also on the exco of the bank. The four people that reported into me were 40, 42, 43, and 46. Yeah. I was 32. So 32 to 46 is a big gap, right?
Quite a jump.
We're in Nigeria, and African tradition requires I respect my elders, correct? It has nothing to do with the position. I have to respect my elders. So I may
Yes.
not go as much as saying sir, but my mannerism, my body language, is one of cooperation. I might have the solution to the problem. I don't say what my solution is. I say, I was thinking of something like this. What do you think? Because I know you have a lot of experience doing this sort of thing, this and that. And they're like, oh, yeah, actually, the way we should do it is like this. Because they do have more experience than I do, right? And are older and wiser and whatever. But for whatever reason, the organization has said, all of you are under Chukuka, because Chukuka we know and trust. And he's the owner of the P&L. He's the one that's delivering, whether it's a win or a loss, right? So I don't think that you cower because they're older. As far as the organization has, in their own infinite wisdom, has made a determination that you should lead and they should follow, I think the only thing you have to do to protect yourself is not let the power go to your head. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? Very
Right.
calm, be measured, watch your tone. Even when some of them, and some of them may be throwing shade, right? Even when they throw
Or
shade,
alluding that you're inexperienced.
100%. In fact, for me, if you met me and you had 5 CVs on the road, you will not pick this one because I'm so down to earth and humble and like a local jester and stuff that I sort of push away from the serious side of me, if that makes sense. And so I think that helps to, I don't come in the room going, yeah, you guys are number 23 of 25 banks. You clearly don't know what the hell you're doing. And I'm here to fix everything, right? I'm not doing that. I'm playing stupid. I'm putting my hand up, say, hey, I don't know this. I'm asking a stupid question. What do you guys think? But all the things, all the skills to use to disarm what would normally be a very difficult situation. Because they're also wondering, why the hell are you the head? Why am I not the
Exactly.
head? Since I'm
For
simply
me, I personally find myself within the crossroads of taking charge as I have to and also learning from the others because they have experience. And then
absolutely.
sometimes I feel like if I sit back and listen more, it will feel like I'm not proactive. So I'm not doing my job as I need to. But then when I take charge, it's like, what do I know? Or like, these people are all in their late 20s. I'm barely done with university. So how do I balance all of that?
I have lived, look, when I was an intern, the reason why I was in the graduate, not so there's the undergrad and then there's graduate. So I was in the graduate, JP Morgan does like a book for camp. Well, I don't know whether they still do it now, but for campus now, when they're going to recruit, they'll have a book that says this for MBA students, this for graduates. That's where my face was. But I was in second year of college working for them as an intern, but they still put my face there. And so when those MBAs came and they put one in my team, they're like, I know you now from the magazine. I'm like, yeah, welcome. Come and sit down and learn something about FX trading because you've been in Harvard now. You have not been, I've been here on this desk. So the things I know, I'm going to now teach you. So I think it's just it's a fine dance from not drinking the Kool-Aid and being a bit of an a-hole and sort of being chilled and likable and going out with them and, showing them your other side. So that's what I would say. Go ahead, Ebere.
Good evening, Mr. Chukuka. Thank you so much for everything you've said and for giving us your time. I have a question, and it was from this particular answer you're having. As a team leader, I think many of us have worked with like foundations or something where the members are voluntary. So as the team leader in a foundation where joining and leaving is voluntary. So in situations where like your members are not really putting in efforts, or maybe like you can't really force their hand, how do you handle such a situation where the members are not as active as they're supposed to be, or everyone is just being like a daisical about it? That, and at one point do you like maybe stop pleading and then start giving out sanctions and all the rest of that? Thank you.
It's very, very important to have rules and regulations. It's very, very important to have KPIs. When you are running a team, you need to have clarity of one, each person's job description. What the hell did we hire you to do here? That's the first thing. The second thing is, based on that job description, I'm now going to map deliverables, time bound. So every quarter we'll look at our numbers. You should have done this, you have done that. Training, development, actual transactions, like these are the things that are important, right? Okay. Now, those tools are very important because then I can, it's not he said, she said, right? I can bring it up and say, I asked you on this date at this time to do this by this time. You didn't do it. I asked you to do this at this time. I'm not like, we're not playing here, right? You are derelict in your delivery of duties. You now have 3 strikes and you're about to be out. So you're now on performance management, which is, I'm now going to give you 2 more things to do. And if you don't deliver them, you're out, and you will be out. And other people, is the first time I removed somebody from our team, it's only then people knew that Chukuka could be serious, right? Because before that, I'm like jovial. I'm like, well, hold on. This person's not doing their work. And they also giving me attitude but we're like close, we're all close in age. So, they're not really sure whether I'm really the boss or not. So I'm like, okay, I did it. And I got rid of the person, right? And it became very clear we're not playing around. But then for those that delivered, I helped them with each buying their cars. I got a nice car. Each of them got cars. We brought them from America. So now everybody could see, stick and carrot. He's fair, right? The people that delivered all have new cars, and the ones that didn't, they have been sent out. So you have to be laser focused on the deliverables. I would tend to do the following. I would say, the goal for the team is, let's say I was given a budget of $10 million by my boss. I would then go to my team and say, your budget collectively is $20 million. And then my team will go and meet themselves and say, Chuka's giving us $20 million budget. Let's try and make 25 or 30. And so by the time they come back with that 25 or 30, which they will, because I only hire assassins. I only hire A's. I don't hire B's, C's. I'm not using anybody to learn. No. No interest, right? In zero competence, zero hunger, and focused on delivery. No, you can't even be hired. It's not even possible. So that's the first part you have to fix. You have to fix how they hire people. Make sure you don't hire any losers, jokers, unserious people, B team. Don't bother with those guys. Focus on winners, focus on hungry people, focus on people that have chips on their shoulder. They want to prove something in their work. Those guys will go to bed. I mean, they will kill for you, right? At least that's how they did for me. because the reward and the punishment, they're very clear, and they're clear from the day you start. In fact, they're clear before you get hired. You know everything. You can almost calculate your own bonus. So those are the things I think you can do.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chukuka.
Thank you. Lucien, I see that you had similar question. I hope Mr. Chuka's response has also answered yours. Do we have any other question? Lucien, you have the floor. Hi, Lucien.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, sir. Well, my question was similar to that of Ebere, but in my own situation, I'm actually in a volunteering situation where we came together as volunteers, but at this point in time, everybody is not, or many people rather, are not taking up their task as they have to do. So everything is like it's on hold because we cannot move forward because this person has not done this person has not done that, and it's really making things tedious for me as the program manager of the volunteering community. So at this point, I don't really know what I have to do. But from the answer you've given to Ebere, I've gotten some points, but if you can address mine, I'll be glad. Thank you.
Is there an option for firing people? It's so simple now. I don't understand. There's a KPI. I said you need to do jump 3 times, squat 4 times, and run around the field once. And you didn't even come for practice. How are you still employed? It's so simple. It's to fire the person now. There's even no need for any performance evaluation or anything. But then again, I'm not an NGO. I'm coming from for profit and I'm chasing bonuses, right? Investment banking. Investment bankers, they are responsible for many bad things. So our hat, with the hat side, is SEO that gives me a hat, right? When I'm in these jobs, I'm working 16 as the boss. I'm working 16 hours days. The people that are working for me are doing 20 hours, some of them. Some decide to do 12. Those guys are not going to make it at the end of the term, right? So you got to be harsh because it's called tough love. It's almost like if you have a child and you're trying to train the child to become Michael Jordan or number one in whatever. I mean, that child's life is not going to be good, right? It's going to be tough because they're going to be in the sun. I'm 50, in my 50s, because I'm more than 50 now, but in my 50s, I woke up this morning and went for a walk and played some soccer. I also played soccer yesterday, but that's because it's a habit of mine. I've been doing it for a long time. So I don't know what people are talking about. You just have to fire people, right? Like just get rid of them. Anybody that doesn't want to work doesn't need work now. So, and there are many other people that are hungry that want work. You see what I mean? So you just fire the person. So simple.
Okay. So we have the last question from Chuku Okolo from Ebonyi State University chapter. Chuku, you can speak now. Or do you want to drop your question in the chat room? Okay, Mr. Chuka, while she comes on, I think based on the 2 questions that Lucien and Ebere asked, right, I think it's coming from the place of volunteerism because, and I will look at it maybe from their outreach and chapter placement, and they have to reach out to sometimes their peers to come on board and do certain things. And I think it's coming more from how do we keep them? Even though we're not paying them, I think it's just motivation that we can.
Okay, that one is different. That one is different. Now I understand. So for that one, rice and chicken, it has helped save lives. If I was working for volunteer, at least if I reach somewhere, I knew there's going to be food for those that worked versus no food for those that didn't. I mean, how much? At least we can afford to do rice and chicken now, especially Chicken Republic or one of these type of correct spots. I think that you have to have some kind of incentive when people are taking out, supposed to be taking, because life is actually very, very hard, right? Especially if you're hustling to, do this and do that. And then now you have to do this volunteer thing. Even when I was volunteering, trust me, it wasn't sweet, quote unquote, right? Because I knew I wasn't getting paid. And as an Igbo man, there's something wrong with not getting paid when you're working. But I found joy in giving. So, and I guess people really are internally driven. Like for me now, the presentation I did for you guys, I mean, none of you can pay me. I took it seriously. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like this presentation didn't exist. I had to create it and I had to make sure there were no errors. And I haven't even animated anything in a long time, but I had to, do the animation myself, right? To make sure that I came here prepared. And so I think it's still back in the selection. Like when you're selecting, you really have to do a better job at assessing alignment of values and finding people that genuinely believe that serving is good. You know how you can be in school and some people are like in student union and you are wondering how the hell they have any time to be in student union? What the hell are they doing there? But they're just like activists by nature. They're like trying to figure out what's happening in the school and you can't understand why. So you have to find your tribe. You have to find people that service comes naturally to them, right? Is how I would approach it. I mean, when I was running I was in school and I was running the club for I think it was called Finance Economics Club at Baruch. I mean, I wasn't getting paid, but I took that job very seriously. The people that supported me, there was a Russian girl, there was a couple of other people that supported me. Um, I was I was able to I was able to give them benefits that weren't financial. So, as an example, I have all these contacts on Wall Street because I work at JP Morgan during the day and I go to school at night. So, I'm bringing next week the head of proprietary trading who might be needing somebody for his derivatives desk in a year. So, might not be a bad idea if you help us organize the flyers for that event. So I was always like, but that's just Niger sense. I was always like trying to find like the lever point that will make sure that this person does the flyers and this other one, goes around and talks to all the and so trying to figure out what people's specific situation is and having empathy for those situations and then finding a way to solve their problem, even if you're not giving them money for it, I think is the solution to some of these things.
Thank you, sir. Hi, Uchechukwu.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please, ma, I have a question.
Carry on, please.
Okay, ma. Ma, in a situation where a team leader is trying to recruit a new members, but at the end, you found out that the people are all interested in money. How much will they be paid monthly? I'm finding it difficult to recruit a members here in Ebonyi State chapter because most of them are not interested. They are interested in money, how much they will pay them. That's all.
Sorry that I'm laughing, Uchechukwu. It sounds like an Igbo problem. No, but seriously, I think that so there's many ways to skin a cat. As an example, I'll go back to my rice and chicken. There's got to be some organization, some food restaurant place. There were events I used to do, and I would go and meet like somebody that owned like a restaurant, something like that, and be like, this restaurant, I think more students can come here if you support our business. Or, madam, I see you're selling t-shirts, but these t-shirts, the thing is not even moving. Why don't you give us a discount? Let's help you sell it. But while you're doing that, can you give us some money towards our school for blah, blah, blah? So I think you have to be a bit more creative because money is their problem. And so now, if you can find out what amount will move them for them to start doing stuff for you, then you owe it to yourself to find ways for fundraising. And there are ways to fundraise. Always.
Okay.
There's ways now. Is it not university? Party,
Yes, sir.
you can charge for. There's gate fee for fashion show, something. I mean, there's always some kind of thing that you can set up ad hoc. I told you I was, I mean, I'm not saying you do this, but I was teaching anti-rape classes. I was charging for those classes, whether it was $3 or $5.
Yeah.
And I was charging for those classes, and I made some money on that. But I'm saying that there's rich people's children that don't know what to do with their cash. Maybe they can come in and support, and then you do something for them. I don't know. But there's got to be a way that you can, raise some small funds from local businesses that enjoy the patronage of your university as a way of getting money to now pay these guys.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate.
You can have a hair braiding tournament for best hairstyle. Gather women, let them come. They will pay. I don't know how much the hair braiding is now in Nigeria. They will pay an amount. Some of that amount is used to pay those guys. There's something you can do. Washing cars. There's always something. It's just about the mindset of where do I need money. Where do I get money from? Me, I never had that problem because I always find one thing that I can do, that will bring that cash out. So I think you have to think a bit more.
Okay, so there is another problem.
Yeah,
In
go
where
ahead.
our school is somehow like a timid in a village, like in that place that as the money is not flowing well, business is not moving well. You see a business to do, but the people that will buy the business are the people that are doing the business are bigger than the ones buying the goods. So we are finding it difficult to raise money. Money is not really flowing there, sir. Things are hard. It's in a village. The school is in a village. That is the reason I'm asking all these questions, sir.
So are you telling me that if one of you can cook pepper soup and you make pepper soup, that nobody will come and buy it?
Sir, you sell, but you won't see, even the capital that you use have started, you won't see because they will price it below what you are expected to sell. And there are a lot of people selling pepper soup around the area. That is the problem, sir.
Okay, oh, this sounds like a unique Abraca problem. I'm not sure then what to tell you. Maybe Ebenezer has some fantastic idea or Sally.
Because since my 100 level, I'm now in my final year now. And the person that handed over to me, it has only been 2 of us since that year till now. People, I don't know why.
Do
they
you people
always
have graduates from your school? You can't reach out to those people that just finished last year or the year after.
I can reach out to them, sir.
They are not in the village again now. They have entered city somewhere. They are making ends meet. You have to start writing love letters to them.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there's a way out of every problem. It's not possible that okay, so what are you going to do now? So you're not doing it again now, since you cannot. His hands up. You can't have hands up now. It's not possible.
No, I like WAAW Foundation organization. I don't want it to. I don't just want to end that way.
Okay.
Hi, Chukuka. So I understand that this is your chapter. This is if I hear you correctly, sustaining your chapter, right? What we will do is we would reach out to you to really see how we can support your chapter, because the truth is we've had a number of chapters who have been dormant. They've not done anything, but they've been able to revive them back. So we would reach out to you next week, at least by Monday. Myself and my team will reach out to you and support you the best way we can, based on those that have also been in the same situation that you've been, and how have they been able to pass through it.
Thank you, ma'am, for intervening in my case. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Uche. Thank you. Okay. We still have some questions. Mr. Chicken, how do we move this? Should we collate some questions that we get? We can move this to the community group and get some more questions. Then I share with you. How would you want us to approach
It's
this?
fine. I can stay another maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, we can take as many as we can here. And then it's not just me. Ebenezer is here. You know that. That's a very strong man.
Okay.
And my other colleagues are here as well, I believe. I'm looking for the names, so I don't see.
So I see Donba says he has a she says here there's a question. Hi Donba.
Sure. Go ahead.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my name is Devana Dunbar and I am from Liberia. I just got into this to help a friend out, but currently I am running an NGO by myself. So I just want to know how do I be a part of this and still go on with my own personal activities? Because it's draining.
This is your question. Ask it again. What are you asking me exactly? How do you go about doing what you're doing now and also doing this?
Yeah.
First of all, are
So
you still in school?
yes, I am a second year student.
Okay. You said Liberia, correct?
Yes.
Is that where they eat dry rice?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, good. Well, I think that I don't know how you manage your time, right? But I think that this is an excellent program. And I think that the Liberian market is ripe for it, just given where the country is and development and connectedness to the world, right? I think that being in something like this, first of all, let me just from an SEO perspective, you're in college doing STEM, I would imagine, because that's why you're here. Imagine leaving to go work at Goldman Sachs in London next summer, simply because you came on this call, you stayed active at WAAW Foundation, and then you found a way to essentially accelerate your career by getting into the SEO program, and now you're working for Goldman, making, I don't know, 75,000 pounds in London, where you can now do other things. I'm saying at the end of the day, you have to decide, what it is you want to do and where in the growth trajectory your own foundation stuff is, right? It may be the case that you're already funded, in which case none of what I said makes sense. But if you're still trying to develop skills and you're still trying to grow and learn, then you want to be in environments that will continue to enrich you, your mind, your body, and really get you going. And I think that WAAW Foundation, just given some of the stuff, I mean, I saw the stuff they were doing in Ghana where they had teachers fly in to come and teach some robotics classes and stuff. I'm here in Dallas with the founder, and I've also been at some of the events that they've had here in McKinney in Dallas, and it's phenomenal to see even kids here getting those skills and then using those skills to now go into jobs or frankly go build their own thing, right? So you would need to be able to assess what is more valuable for you. But for me, I would think that just given where you are in your growth trajectory, what you need to do is get deeper with this, and it will definitely yield fruit. And if you definitely look up, I don't know whether Ebenezer knows whether we've had anyone from Liberia join us, but yeah, it would be good for SEO to partner up with you, and maybe we can even talk about the program in your school.
Yeah, so she can reach out and we can talk about that. I was in touch with someone from Liberia, I think last 2 months, so we can definitely talk
Okay,
about that. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And I also want to add that she has start small, leverage the resources that she has at hand. So it's not more starting big or trying to do the big things other well-established organizations are doing, but just with the little ways you can make impact, it's just great. Then can escalate right after school. So just start small and you.
No, that's really good advice. I mean, when I think of SEO now, we started very small. We were, just had 11 kids. We rented a bus that we put them in that took them from one place to the other, take them to, a restaurant to teach Golden Tulip, to teach dining etiquette and things like that. And, we did the training program ourselves. And for the first 7 years or 8 years, yeah, 7 years at least, but maybe 8, I would go to Accra every year for the training and stuff. So you just need a group of committed people beyond yourself, small team, and you guys just push, and build it one block at a time, one step at a time. Before you know, you have something thriving.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Am I missing? Or Jessica, am I missing any other question? Based off what I can see here, that's pretty much it.
Was Cynthia's question answered? Because there were a series of questions I was asked that sounds similar to this Cynthia's question, but I want to make sure that the question was answered. Please, how do you deal with someone whom you're working with? First time the person messed up, you forgave the person. Then the same thing happened again and again and again. That's 4 again. So that's 4 times the person committed the same sin. Please, what do you do at that point? I think you fire the person now, or you leave the person alone. Yeah, they're not reliable. They can't be a leader. Yes, you are correct. You are not expected to accommodate. Yeah. That is it. You get rid of them. Less is more, by the way. What you find is sometimes when you have a team, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 people, but only like 3 people are doing the work. Sometimes it's good to know that you just have 3 people in your team. It's sometimes better, less headache, I don't mind doing. I'm built to run teams, but I started my life as an analyst doing the work, and so if you push me, I'll do the work myself. But I prefer to manage teams that are built with self-driven, self-motivated assassins, I call them. And if you can't find those people, then it's very difficult trying to motivate someone that's not telling it. Uche Chuku, the bungalow is making noise. All right. Any other questions?
Okay, I don't know if we still have questions. If not, I think we can move on. Mr. Chukuka, thank you very much for this section. I mean, I've been wowed. I don't know for the fellows. I'm sure they have from the questions they've been asking and everything. It's been an amazing section. Thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of our fellows reaching out, sending out emails and all of that. Thank you very much for this section. So maybe we can still answer them there. Um, let's try to round up. Okay, Wura.
Thank you, Jessica. Thanks for standing for my
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chukuka. Jessica, did you round up so I know where I'm picking up from?
Yes, I just
okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chukuka. Thank you to the SEO team, Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you so much for staying from the start till now. Honestly, this is like the first time that our meeting is going beyond the allotted time, and we're saying thank you. We really do hope that beyond the questions, the contributions that the scholars and fellows have given, it does so much more for them beyond the session, and we will follow up with them. What we also commit to do is we'll share the link to the community so that even the fellows and scholars who are unable to join this call can have access to it, and we can provide reference or question or respond to some of the questions that he might have for that. I don't know if Mr. Ebenezer would like to share his email address, or how do we reach him?
Okay, so I replied to some people with my LinkedIn, but for
Okay,
others, you can direct inquiries to the info account, but maybe general inquiries. I just know what it's about. So
awesome.
it's info@scafrica.org. And once it's personal, I think they'll forward it to me. So feel free to
Okay,
show
that
that.
works.
All right.
That
And please
works.
check your DM too as well. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I don't know, Timmy, would you like to say something?
All right.
The
Thank you so
okay,
much,
Ash
Mr.
on the call.
Hi,
Chukuka. Can you hear
Timmy.
me?
Yes, we can hear
Hi,
you.
Jessica. Well done, Wura. Thank you, Mr. Chukuka, and to your
Hi,
team. Thank
Timmy.
you so much for staying with us all through. It's been really mind-blowing. Thank you for all the questions. You took your time to answer all the questions, and I'm sure that our fellows and our scholars have learned a lot, especially how to lead their STEM chapters, how to handle their team, how to recruit more fellows into their team, and all that. Things to watch out for, like you said, self-motivation. For me, I think it's more important than those who are money-driven. The money-driven people, once the money drops, even if the money starts in the beginning, once the money starts reducing, then, their services will also start getting affected. So we want to focus on those who are self-driven. And thank you so much for sharing your experience, your success story in your career, and telling us about all the wonderful programs that SEO Africa has and people can actually, benefit from it. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chukuka. We appreciate you and we celebrate you from WAAW Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Oluwatimileyin. Timileyin. Oluwatimileyin. Abi, I got it. Onofeso.
Yes.
I passed
Thank
Yoruba
you.
now. Why are you doing me like this? I passed. Yeah. So anyway, just thank you guys. I had a good time. I hope you did too, and I hope it was beneficial. I hope I didn't disgrace people too much because I told you at the beginning that I had what did I call it again? A bit of a stage fright. So I hope I performed well and up to scratch. But if you guys need any help, any questions, definitely hit us up. SEO is committed to really, really changing the landscape. And by the way, we have a slant on women, like we go out of our way, right? Over the last 15 years, no, sorry, 13 years almost now of the program, we've actually done quite well in terms of the mix of men and women that get into the program. It's almost pretty much down the middle. I'd say African women have been doing extremely well, given the boys a run for the money. So we try and get the best candidates in, but we make sure that we have throughout the year different things that we do to support women. In fact, in STEM in particular, Blessing Omorige, our CEO, told me today that we actually have a new program that we're launching that we've just tested out in Ghana for women in STEM, where we're trying to sort of get people a bit more focused and encouraged and do a bit of training and stuff like that as a segue for them to now apply for these programs. Because when the likes of Facebook were first hiring in Africa, no one could pass their they tried to hire a bunch of people in Ghana first, and no one could pass the hackathon that they do as a test. And so they asked us, SEO, to step in to look at it for them, and we were able to train a bunch of kids in Ghana at the time. It's quite a few years ago now, about 7 years or 8 years, I can't remember. And that then unlocked the ability to hire people from us. So yeah, happy to help. Wish all of you well. I want to hear and see that a number of you here have actually applied for the SEO program. There's many different programs. There's the one in Ghana. There's the one in I think we even have one in we've placed some kids in Francophone West Africa and Abidjan. I'm aware of that. And then obviously there's the one in Nigeria, and then there's the international program. So as you follow each of the handles, you keep seeing all the reminders for different things. And we also help people with their MBA path. So if somebody has done well, worked for a couple of years and wants to do an MBA, we actually have programs that we usually give to our alumni that helps them get to those fancy schools. So with that, I thank you, and I will be signing off to go and look for some nice food.
Thank you, Chukuka, and thank you very much, WAAW Foundation team. That was an amazing program. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. All right, bye. Over to you, Jessica.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chukuka, Mr. Ebenezer, and the whole SEO Africa team. So now back to our fellows. I know we've learned a lot today. Sorry, we are running out of time. So let's tidy up our outreaches for the month. Okay, this month we had over 14 impactful outreaches. Wow. Conducted across 11 chapters. We had some outreaches in Nigeria, Republic, Ghana, Ethiopia, Congo, Kenya, and Cameroon. And we had over 1,552 girls empowered. Okay, so let's take a quick glance at some of these outreaches. We had the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Nigeria. I think this was a chapter that made use of our design journal. It was an amazing section. We had University of Mines and Technology, Tapa, Ghana. Okay. We had Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria. We had Jigjiga University chapter, Ethiopia. Okay, this is new. ULPGL chapter, Congo. Wow, so many amazing outreaches. MOI University chapter, Kenya. And we had the University of Abomey, Calavi chapter, Bini. Okay. University of Bamenda chapter, Cameroon. Wow, a lot of outreaches. Please ensure you always report your outreach. Amadu Bello University chapter, Nigeria. I think this chapter had about 3 outreaches. That's amazing. We had the University of Ibadan chapter as well. And Usman Danfodio University chapter, Nigeria. Our chapters and fellows are doing amazingly well. So we want to give a special shout out to some of our new scholars, our 2025 scholars, who have started going for their outreaches. And it's amazing to see 2025 scholars, people that we just onboarded earlier this month, and they already started their chapter and they've gone for outreaches. So we have the Jigjiga University chapter, Ethiopia, headed by Munira Salat Osman. Congrats, Munira, on starting your chapter and going for your first outreach. We have the ULPGL chapter, Congo, and we have Onela Mulamba. Congrats as well. And University of Ibadan. Okay, this is not a new chapter, but we have a new scholar who has started her outreach, Adebanjo Oluwadarasimi. Okay, so we wish to, this is a special shout out to the 2025 scholars, and we are encouraging the other scholars that have not started their outreach. Please set up your chapter, go for your outreach. Believe me, you will enjoy it. Okay, okay, special shout out. And now it's time to announce the chapter of the month. Who is excited? Who wants to know the chapter of the month? Who wants to know the chapter of the month though? I'm not seeing reactions. What's happening, fellows? I'm not seeing your reactions. Okay, let's see. Ta-da! Chapter of the month, best STEM chapter of the month goes to Amadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. This chapter had 3 insightful outreaches this month, engaging over 500 girls. They had their fellows attend the fellows meetup, as well as engaging on their social media posts. Please, let's put our hands together for this chapter. They've done amazingly well this month. So this is also a call to other chapters for the next month. I want to see this challenge, this competition of I want my chapter to win the chapter of the month next month. All right. So let's keep up the good spirit and continue going for our outreaches. Okay, announcement. Sorry, I don't know if Lillian is here. Should I go on, Wura?
Jessica, I can pick it up from here. I'm not sure. I
Okay,
can't see her from here, but let me just pick it up for on her behalf. Hi guys, well done to the 2025 scholar, the 3 scholars that led this. It was just important that we recognize you and basically to serve as motivation for you, as well as the other scholars who are currently building the foundational work. They are adopting their school. They are already identifying who their fellows will be. We know that a number of works are already happening, but it was just important that we also recognize these guys who we onboarded this month and they delivered an outreach, which is really remarkable. So well done, guys. Our reminders and announcements. We know that it feels like we bombard you guys, but it's important because if we don't report right, we ourselves can't report. So one of the reminders that we're sending to you is, please, when you complete outreaches, it's great that you come to the WhatsApp group to share your wins. Honestly, it's a motivation for others as well to know that, oh, I need to do my an outreach this month. But beyond going to the WhatsApp group, let's ensure that we report it using the outreach form. The reason why we were able to identify who the chapter for the month was because we used what was submitted. We know that a number of others submitted. We know that some people held outreaches, but it's not on that record. And if you really ask us, we'll say you didn't hold an outreach. So we're encouraging you to please ensure that you submit or you fill the outreach reporting form every time you complete an outreach. Another thing to also remind you, just like we had the monthly fellows meetup today, another session will be happening next week, Saturday, June 28th, pardon me. Same time, same place, which is Zoom. Please do well to join and also extend the invite to some of your fellows who are not on this call today. Another thing we will be dropping now on the chat room is the survey form. Something you need to note is we use the survey form as an attendance opportunity as well. So that's a way to track that you did show up. I don't know if some of us noticed, my colleague Lillian had emphasized that the metrics at which we use to identify the chapter of the month is not just holding an outreach. Your participation, your presence during the fellows meetup is also crucial in identifying who the outreach for the month is. So it's important that you fill this particular form because it will count for the month of June. So please take time out before you drop on this call to fill the form. Jessica has dropped the link on the chat room. So please click it. The questions are pretty much straightforward. It covers what you learned today, who was our guest mentor today, and basic general feedback. So please, we are begging, please fill this survey form. And lastly, if you like your chapter to be featured for the June edition of chapter engagement, reach out to Lillian. We missed out today's Zoom because of the time, and I don't know, Jessica, if people still want to remain on the call, we can still bring Evelyn on to share. But one of the things that we've incorporated is it's good that you hear voices of your peers. So one of the things that we started last month for those who joined was the Bayero University sharing how the remarkable things that they have planned for the quarter. Evelyn also, she's going to share with us how did she innovate our way throughout our outreaches using the design journal that we had created. So if you hold outreaches come next month and you think that there's something that you want your other peers to know, it's like an exchange program, really. So reach out to us to say, hi guys, I'd like to be featured in the month of June chapter engagement. It's not limited to old fellows or scholars. Even our 2025 scholars can also come on board, provided you held an outreach and you want to share your learning. So please do well to reach out to us on that. So we will give Evelyn few minutes. It's really important we hear your voice in this meeting. Jessica, do we have to go ahead, please?
Okay, please let's give Evelyn 5 minutes. If that is okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can have the floor.
Hi, Evelyn Falaye. Hi, Evelyn. So we don't keep people waiting. Jessica, what we can do is maybe at the back end, she can send a video or a voice note, but it's just important that we have our voice heard. Then we'll just share on the group in the community so that it will serve the purpose. So having said that, it's safe to say we can close for the day, right?
Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. We really thank you for your patience. We thank you for, and we are sorry about the timing. But I mean, it was a really insightful session. I enjoyed every bit and every second of the time we spent here. And I hope you too also enjoyed it.